Hello, you're back with Beatle, back on Archero 2. Today we are going through the hard mode. Now, if you look at the switch down here, this has just appeared, so I presume you actually may have to beat chapter 10 to get to it. But if you look at the switch here, click it. Wow, hard mode. I've not actually tried this, so I have no idea how hard it is going to be. So we're going to give it a go. If we just go onto our equipment, if you watch my previous video, I did a bit of a damage test between the Agile Knuckles and the Heroic Longbow Epic +2, and even though this is Epic +1, it did more damage. So what I'm going to do is give this a go in our Moonlight Forest chapter 1, but on the hard mode. I'll just come over to the talent cards, maybe open a couple of these just to kick us off. Iron Wall goes up to level 4 now. That's getting quite high up. Collision damage reduced 30, only 50 battle power, but slowly getting there. Super crit damage up to level 3, 6% damage. And here's the super dodge going to level 3, dodge +2%. We'll get one more just for good luck. Here it is, ultimate crit rate. Lots of different crit cards there, but crit rate +5%. And there we go. Let's jump into the hard mode. Here is the chest that we can actually unlock. Looks like it's different waves, but 50 gems is not to be sniffed at. And we'll just jump straight into here. Here it is, hard 1 Moonlight Forest mechanics info. Interesting. Spikes and crossbows. So I presume that these are two sort of additional enemy types that you have to try and evade that aren't on the normal chapter modes. And obviously here, monster buffs, double HP, meteor damage reduced, and fire damage taken. So I presume that that's obviously for the enemy mobs, so they don't take as much fire damage and they don't take as much meteor damage. So that is obviously something just to bear in mind in terms of the weapons I pick up. Not that I usually go for meteors anyway, but obviously the blaze skill is something I do tend to pick up, so I'll maybe try to go for something else if that option does come up. And yeah, let's jump straight into it, see how difficult it actually is. Here we go, 50 waves to go. So I think what we're going to try and do, especially with the Agile Knuckles, is go for something close range. This is obviously between Ricochet, Arrow and Venom. I think let's get the Ricochet. I do like this over the Pierce, as the sort of projectiles bounce between enemies. It sort of targets them, which I think is really handy. There you can see the crossbows. They look like they only fire up or down as opposed to targeting you, which makes it a little easier. It wasn't what I was expecting, but better than nothing. Don't really like the potions. Long range power, I'm not very long range, and the assault strike, not ideal. So, well, I'm going to have to go for the assault strike, I think, which is chance to trigger strike when attacking. I do have quite a high attack speed. The Agile Knuckles do increase your attack speed, so hopefully that will actually help with the strike. And that was a dragon, which I've never seen before. I presume that's something to do with the strike that I just got, but we'll see if that comes back again. Valkyrie wants to give us a legendary upgrade, which is very nice to start with. Beam Strike and Super Meteor. Obviously, meteors are massively debuffed, so let's just get the Beam Strike here. Summon a Sword Strike that fires lasers periodically. Bit of a Beam Strike build that I have here, unintentionally, but we'll maybe see how good it is in the damage comparison at the end as well. So far, so good as we are leveling up. Obviously, it does start really easy and then gets harder later on. Let's get the Beam Circle here. I think the orbs and circles is what I am trying to get. That was the dragon again. I presume that is the first upgrade that I got. I didn't see it mentioned anything to do with the dragon. We'll just get max HP there, and we get a boss already. We're already on stage 10. That's really quick. The issue with the Knuckles, obviously, is that I'd have to be really close, but we do manage to see that boss off relatively quickly and get the roulette. Breath of Wind is an automatic upgrade of move speed, which is not too bad at all. And the crossbows have gone and the spikes have appeared. 2 potions and Wounded Warrior greatly increases attack power for 5 second wind damage. The meteors are pretty much useless, so we're going to have to get the Wounded Warrior. Again, not the best, but for a hard mode, I think I'm doing quite a lot of damage, but I have said this before and got overconfident at the start of one of these, because I know that it does really build up in terms of difficulty later on. Valkyrie is going to give us a blessing. Both of these have big trade-offs. Giant Strength and Weapon Enchantment. I don't think the Weapon Enchantment is that great with the Agile Knuckles, as it already attacks pretty quick anyway. The auto attack, I don't know if that's going to be that beneficial. I'll have to get the Giant Strength, but obviously our move speed and size and quite negative there, but it is what it is. Hopefully, obviously being an epic upgrade, it must be better than not, so we'll go for it. Rare upgrade here. I think the charged arrow would be quite good, but I think cloud footed, especially considering I'm now bigger size, is going to be quite handy, as that obviously pushes the enemies back and increases my move speed back to where it probably was before I got that upgrade. But yeah, my damage is certainly high enough as we get the angel there. Max HP up again. Whoa, 16,000. That is probably the highest HP I've ever got as we get to the level or stage 20 boss here. What Wow, he died massively quickly. That's mental. What does the devil want to give us? Lose 2,000 HP, which a couple of episodes ago would probably be quite a lot, but given my HP now is not that much. You know what, I'm going to sign it. YOLO, why not? We'll get more attack power for close range. I just can't believe how quick they're dying. Although saying this, the crossbows have increased in volume. That's quite a lot of crossbows there, so I'll have to just stick to the side, but not the end of the world. New skill, I think Fairy of the Wind is probably going to be a good one. I think having attack speed up a little, move speed up a bit, just because we are quite a big character now with that upgrade we got previously. But everything is just dying so quickly. Both of these would be really good. I think just because there's more green arrows, I'm just tempted for the Soul of Swiftness. I do like just general attack power, but there's, 8 green arrows as opposed to 3. We're going to get that one. So I imagine I must attack really fast now. When I get close, everything just absolute destruction. Nothing can actually get too close to me, so it's more just about trying to dodge the projectiles. I honestly thought this would be a bit harder, to be honest. We'll get move speed up again as I am still full health. And we're on the level 30, or stage 30 boss. What is he? It's like the Cloyster Pokemon. But again, just goes down really quickly. So let's see what the devil wants to give us. Strike attack up. I'm going to reject this as I don't want to lose too much health, just in case it gets a bit trickier on the last 20 rounds. Let's get the bolt here, projectile shock enemies. It was the blaze that would have been reduced, so I think that this is probably quite a nice upgrade to get. Obviously now when it hits an enemy, the lightning goes on to some of the others. Be interesting to actually see the damage comparison at the end to see what does the most damage, because I think most of the enemies aren't in range of my own attack, but they do still seem to be dying pretty quickly, so I'm guessing the strikes must be doing something. Here, let's get the charge to launch a giant arrow, just as those red arrows actually put me off quite a bit, even though it may be a really good upgrade. Oh my god, everything is dying there. I think the ricochets are also really helping there, it seemed like. Meteors obviously debuffed. Let's just get the ice circle. So yeah, so I'm only on chapter 11, and obviously this being a hard mode on chapter 1, I thought it would be harder than it is. If you have done any of the hard mode, let me know what chapter you're on the main playthrough, just to sort of see a bit of a comparison there. We'll get the move speed up, as I did think it might be harder than it is as we get onto the wave 40 boss of the Cobra. This one does have more HP, which is almost good to see. Not that it lasted too long, but definitely more than the previous one, so we're actually still full health there, I noticed. Another upgrade straight off the bat, move speed up, very nice. And the last 10 waves, everything is still dying pretty quickly. I think I've actually got quite an interesting build going, to be fair. I will like to see what the damage comparison is at the end of what is actually doing all the damage, because I'm pretty sure most of the things are out of my range. Obviously the fire damage was debuffed, so the flame sprite may not be the best one, but there is an ice sprite, thankfully, so we'll go for that. I think obviously that is going to freeze any enemies, but it doesn't seem like we're in any danger of dying. Valkyrie, level 45 Valkyrie gives us an epic upgrade. Let's just get the wind blessing. At this stage I don't think it really matters, even though I got that massive speed reduction near the start. I'm absolutely rapid just because of all the move speed upgrades that I've got. This is, yeah, really funny to see, actually, especially with the amount of attack power that I've got. I feel like this is actually quite a strong build. Angel, and then the final boss at 50. Let's get the HP upgrade. So we're actually nearly back on where we got the Red Devil, which I think were around 16. But there he is, little Togepi egg demon, dies really quickly. Oh, he's got 2 stages, but it didn't really last much longer, to be honest. But there we have it. That is hard mode. Not even that hard as it goes. It doesn't really live up to its name. But let's have a look at the damage count. Circle always seems to do the most damage. Sword Strike actually quite impressive there at 28%, and main weapon at 22%. Obviously, I think that my main weapon was out of range for the majority of the time. The Sword Strike probably has done better because my main weapon was out of range, so it was one of the only things able to do the damage. So I think that's probably why it's 28%, but I'm actually quite impressed with that. So what I will do in another video is do a Sword Strike build to actually do maybe a comparison to see how much that can do. But there we go, that is hard mode. Even in hard mode, you still only get common equipment. Maybe it's because it is only stage 1, to be fair, but let's open up the rewards and actually see what we get from the purple box of rewards. That is 50 gems, 10,000. A promised rune shovel. That looks slightly different to the rune shovels that I've got. So it's a promised relic once. Interesting. Maybe I have to check that out. Another 100 gems. a wish token, which is always nice, and a lot more gems. So the rewards are actually far better on difficult mode. So quite glad I'm doing this. I might actually move up through the difficult mode as well as we get into future videos, but I will leave it there. If you have liked it, please do like, subscribe, continue on the journey with me as we progress through the game. Catch you in the next one.
Yo, it's the gaming Beatle crawling on the scene. Joystick dreams keep my gameplay clean. Archero the game, arrows flying supreme. Dodging through the levels like I'm living in a meme. Click subscribe, let the vibes take hold. Hit that button, make the story unfold. Thanks for watching, now the secrets are told. Gaming Beatle buzzing, yeah, the legend is gold.